going on, guys? This is Benny with BB Aquatics. I'm sitting here with the 60-gallon red mangrove estuary, and before we get into the main topic of this video, figured we'd go ahead and feed these guys. So let's get to it. All right, so this looks pretty nasty, but right here next to my beautiful butterflies, I know I'm lame, is some mushed up mussel and clam on the half shell. So this is mainly for the puffers, but with the mussel, you know, it kind of flakes off and everybody gets a bite. And I'm a huge advocate for food diversity and a diverse diet. Helps keep your fish real healthy. And let's see, this is all the guts and glory here. As you can see, this little green spotted puffer's just going for it. These guys are literally like puppy dogs. Even the killifish got himself some. He's gonna play keep away. You know you can't swallow that whole thing. But you know what flakes off? The little mono sebes and mono argentis will go ahead and get some. The mollies will get some. That night goby will definitely get some. It's so cool feeding this tank. Everybody's got a different kind of feeding behavior, and it's super cool to watch. The puffers can be somewhat aggressive, but everybody will get a little bit. And as for everybody else, I know I've got some algae on this tank. Everybody else, minus the puffers, you know, they'll get spirulina algae flakes and small omega-1 marine pellets and so on and so forth. Algae wafers. Super cool watching these guys eat, and the puffers getting their little bellies. Sweet. Guys, panning over to the 125-gallon high-end brackish system, and as you can see, there is a new inhabitant. This is an Atlantic spadefish. They're in the batfish family, and believe it or not, juveniles like this one. This is a juvenile, believe it or not, even though he is a hog. Are found in brackish conditions. Sometimes as low as 1.009 and 1.015. That being said, this system is now sitting at 1.018. The store I got him from had him in 1.019, and they kind of keep that lower salinity to ward off parasites and whatnot. But I'm gonna slowly, gradually bring this system up to full salt water anyway. And he will make a great addition to the 300-gallon. Spadefish are found as far north as Massachusetts in the Atlantic, it being an Atlantic spadefish, down to northern Brazil and the Gulf of Mexico. So kind of a somewhat cold water species to subtropical species for sure. I didn't care to change the temperature in this tank. It's sitting at around 78, 79 degrees, and that's just fine for him. He's got a nice big 6-foot tank to span now. He was in a 90-gallon at the fish store, bare bottom, with a big angelfish, and he didn't nearly have the footprint that he's got here to swim. And this fish was almost 110% wild caught, no doubt. And they can be finicky in captivity. I have gotten him on mussels and clams. That is what they eat in the wild. And he's even taken to some sheets of algae as well. But as you can see, very active swimmers. This is a schooling fish, and he'll kind of just pace back and forth with the scats and monos. But definitely going to be a staple addition to the 300 gallon once that is all said and done. And I'm expecting him to get quite big along with his tank mates here. Super cool fish. But as you can see, as far as the 6-foot tank goes, these fish get absolutely big, absolutely huge. And we're gonna see just how that goes. He is super healthy, he's feeding well for me. And not one to buy off of a whim, but it's just something that really caught my eye and schools really well. He is pretty active and he spooks somewhat easily. It took him a couple days to get settled in, but he's certainly a really cool fish. Now guys, by no means did I go ahead and buy this fish knowing that I couldn't house it properly, that it would eventually outgrow this tank. This is stuff that you have to think about prior to getting a fish like this, and actually scats and monos are one of them. They get big. So plan for a 300 to 500 gallon custom aquarium at some point if you're ever going to keep these large fish. As easy as the brackish species can be, as far as growth and growth rate, they grow pretty quick, and the bigger the aquarium that you give them, the better chance of success that you're really setting them up for. So what do we got as far as plans with this tank? Obviously with our new guest, the Spadefish, we're going to slowly keep bringing the salinity up to around 1.020 just to accommodate for him. Yes, I know the juveniles can be found and are usually found in mangrove systems as far south as they go, and even estuaries on the east coast, northeast coast of the United States. But that doesn't necessarily mean that long term this is going to be the best option for this fish in captivity. So as I've slowly been bringing the salinity up, he's starting to feed a little bit more for me, starting to get a little more settled in. And I will tell you, there's not one fish in here, from the toadfish to the moray, scats and monos, that are not capable in living in full marine conditions right now. And everybody's just doing super good. I'm gonna go ahead and probably add another canister. I'm not gonna go ahead and waste my money on making a sump for this tank or buying a sump for this tank when I'm already going to be upgrading them to a much bigger aquarium. As far as turnover goes, we're good on water movement. I'm gonna probably throw an FX6 right here on the side just for a little bit more turnover. Obviously we're gonna keep doing our weekly water changes. I'll probably up it to about 50%. Probably do maybe 60 gallons or so a week, opposed to my 32 gallons that I do, because he is a pretty big fish. Big fish mean big waste, but he's settling in quite well, and I am super excited to share with you guys the progression of this system and the whole fish room here. So with that said, we will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.